Hi there! Let's wrap up this series of videos on factors by introducing the concept of ordinal variables and by taking a look at a couple of very useful R functions that operate on factors. An ordinal variable is similar to a categorical variable since they both take a finite set of categories as their values, but there is an important difference between them. Values of ordinal variables are ordered or ranked according to a specific criterion. For instance, the socioeconomic status of people in a specific region can be thought of as an ordinal variable that takes as its potential values low, medium, and high. Probably the value for the socioeconomic status is related to a person's income, the area that they live in, and or other parameters that are taken into account. Satisfaction rating is another ordinal variable since its values may be very satisfied, satisfied, indifferent, or dissatisfied. These values can be ordered by anyone in the same order, whereby very satisfied is the highest ranked value and dissatisfied is the lowest ranked value. Lastly, a well-known ranking to language professionals that can be encoded as an ordinal variable is the proficiency level of second language learners, ranging from C2 to A1 for very advanced to beginner learners respectively. All these orderings are not following objective measurement criteria in the same way that happens with values of interval variables. I will spend some time on interval variables when the time is right, but for now keep in mind that many common numeric variables are interval variables. For instance, if you measure people's height, the variable height is an interval variable whose values are ordered based on inches or centimeters. Inches and centimeters are used for imposing the ordering, and these measurements are acknowledged by all people worldwide. On the other hand, values of ordinal variables are not assigned to observation points based on objective measurement means. The classification of second language learners to one of the proficiency levels is based on a number of parameters that cannot avoid subjective judgment by human evaluators. Therefore, it cannot be excluded that a second language learner can be classified to one proficiency level by one evaluator, whilst it could be classified to a different proficiency level by another evaluator. Ordinal variables are very important for social sciences, since a big part of research in social sciences and in linguistics is based on preparing and collecting questionnaires that require answers placed on a ranking, and therefore that on itself is a means to create and use ordinal variables. Let's head directly to RStudio and see how one can create and use ordinal variables. In R, ordinal variables are encoded as ordered factors. To create one such factor, you first create a character vector and assign it as the first argument to the ordered function as done here. Note that in order to define the correct ordering of the different levels of assessment, you can use the levels argument of the ordered function. The ordered of the character vector reflects the desired ranking of the levels. Now, an important function that can be used to inspect the frequency of each level of the ordered factor is the table function. As you can see, the table function is particularly useful, especially when the number of entries in a factor is high, and it is not easy to obtain a clear overview of the categories that appear more often. Most of the students here failed in these exams, as you can see. Let's look at some useful functions for handling ordered and unordered factors in R. Very often, when you design a language experiment, or any experiment for that matter, with a pre-specified number of participants for each level of a categorical or ordinal variable, you can use the GL function. For instance, to create an unordered factor, recall that an unordered factor corresponds to a categorical variable. With 10 elements and 3 levels, you simply use the first two arguments of the GL function, whereby the first argument indicates the number of levels and the second argument the number of elements of the newly created factor. So, if you would like to create an experiment with 30 participants, with 10 participants belonging to 3 different levels of a categorical variable, you can use this code. Note that the result is an unordered factor. The numbers here do not have a numerical meaning. They are simply placeholders for 4 different categories. For assigning labels to these categories, you can set the labels argument of the GL function. Here I set these 3 strings to the 3 levels of the newly created factor. For creating a new ordered factor following the order specified by the labels argument, you simply need to add the ordered argument and set it to true, as shown here. The last function I will show you in this video is the cat function. I include it here because I find it pretty handy, since lots of times language professionals are more interested in grouping data and draw conclusions for each group of data than to use and exploit recorded data that encode numeric variables, such as scores or the age of second language learners. The cat function is used to convert numeric variables into factors. Let's load the glc.sample data and use the cat function on any of its numeric vectors. For instance, for converting the glc_part1 vector into a factor with 3 levels, you simply set its second argument to 3. As you can see, the resulting unordered factor has 3 levels. The 3 intervals that you see here are not numeric in nature, but should be considered the names of the categories. For renaming these interval-based names, you can use the labels argument and assign it a character vector with the new names of the categories. Finally, for adding ordering to the categories of the newly created factor, you can set the ordered underscore result to true. That's it for now. I hope you liked the video. Next stop, before I move to statistical analysis of language data using R, is to present you the most well-known type of tabular data, namely data frames. And of course, if you like the content of these videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notification when new videos are released.